Are you living your desired lifestyle in your primary residence or your vacation property? Is it time to redefine what living environment works best for you? If you are a couple with a growing family, an empty nester, or just want that getaway property that fulfills a dream, each of those circumstances could mean selling and or buying a property. The Bobbi Decker team can provide you optimized results, either with her San Francisco Bay Area team or working with any of the 750-plus Sotheby's International Realty offices around the world. Bobbi's skills, attention to detail, and level of support for her clients has set her apart in assisting people to optimize results selling their properties or finding the home that meets their needs and desires. For more information or assistance, contact Bobbi at 650-346-5352. Visit her website at www.bobbidecker.com or email bobbi.decker@sotheby'srealty.com.
Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Joe Cucchiara, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate. He also offers real estate tax management strategies, new construction advice, home improvement tips, and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host and Real Estate Radio Live team leader, Joe Cucchiara.
All right, welcome in. This is Joe Cucchiara with Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. Thank you so much. The focus, again, objective of this show is to educate and inform you, the consumer, in and around all over the world with real estate. No matter what you do, buying, selling, financing, we are here to educate and inform you. Sit alongside Buddy and Bobbi with Sotheby's International Realty Affiliate serving Silicon Valley and San Francisco. For more information, you could always go to 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗘𝗓.com. And also, for any of your real estate needs, be sure to contact Bobbi Decker. You could do that by calling 650-346-5352 or also visit her website at bobbidecker.com. Any financing needs you have, you could contact me at area code 408-838-9060 or visit 𝗟𝗡𝗙𝗘𝗓adiolive.com. We have an old friend with us today in our series again, The Economics of Living and Investing Overseas. So I'll turn it over to Bobbi.
Yes, and once again we have Michael, and he is going to go over more about Central America. You know, that test that I just absolutely aced, so that I'm going to be out of here in a nanosecond. But Michael Cobb is Chairman and CEO of ECI Development. Welcome back, Michael.
Good to have you back,
guys,
Mike.
it's great to be back. Thank you.
Well, I do love all your quizzes. The most fun thing is to see kind of where you set up on these tests, like buying what you see. When I looked at that the first time, I said to Buddy, what are you talking about? And it wasn't until you told us what could happen that I clearly get it. And that's such useful information for anyone thinking about making a move.
Yeah, this is more information in Michael's white paper that we talked about earlier in a previous program called the Consumer Resource Guide for Overseas Property Ownership. But today, as we just talked about, we're going to really dig into the facts, the economics of living and investing overseas. All this is beautiful, wonderful. The properties that we've talked about with Michael just whet your palate for more and more and more information about this beautiful part of the world. But you really need to know, what are the economics? What are the things you can do? And it's not just about living there. It's investment value as well. So, Michael, if we can, let's take a look a little bit from the standpoint of financial resources and living comfortably. You have some serious information about really the kind of people that are going to make this move. Bobbi got 30 out of 30 questions, so she's ready to go. But give us some insights. There's been some data that says you better really think about this because economics are going to be important as we age.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, Ernst & Young put out a report. It's kind of dated at this point. It's 2008 report, but it was prior to the big meltdown. And so if we kind of assume that, you know, we kind of dipped and then we got back up to about where we were in 2008 prior to the meltdown, I don't know that the data is particularly dated yet. So Ernst & Young did this report, and basically what they found was that 3 out of 5 middle-class retirees, baby boomers basically, were probably going to outlive their financial resources if they didn't cut back on their spending by about 24%. I mean, 3 out of 5, that's 60%. I mean, I just can't even imagine how horrible it must be to be coming into your golden years, having dreamt of a great retirement life somewhere, realizing that you're probably, in a good way, going to outlive your money because people are living longer. That's part of the problem with the, Social Security and the other types of programs is people are living longer. But if you live longer, you need money longer. And so now you're entering your golden age, and you've got this big looming fear of, okay, I got to cut back 24% on average. That's and so what am I going to cut back on? Am I gonna cut back on, travel? Sure, that's an easy one. But am I going to cut back on food? Am I going to cut back on medicine? I mean, prescriptions are expensive, or co-pays are expensive. And so I think the looming harshness or ugliness in all this is not so much the reality, because there are safety nets in the United States, and we can kind of debate how good they are, and how long they're going to last. But I think the real ugliness in this is the disappointment that somebody is going to have for the golden years ahead of them, thinking they've got to cut back by a quarter, to kind of just hopefully end up at the end point of life, with a little bit of money left in their bank account. I think that's tragic at just a really heart level, and it saddens me greatly. And it's one of the reasons I feel so passionate about what we do with ECI is we give folks who are facing this kind of possibly tragic circumstances a very positive alternative that actually creates a higher standard of life, and it costs maybe 24% less or 50% less than living in the U.S. would. So it's a better quality of life. It's a wonderful alternative, and it meets this sort of you need to cut back by a quarter or more to make it. So it drives us as a company. It fulfills a core mission, both personally and professionally, which is exciting.
Very good. Do you also think that the divestiture of assets will have a negative impact on retirements as well as you talk about this? I mean, get a little bit deeper, if you will, on how that might be affected.
Yeah, I think that there's some just sort of the laws of supply and demand, right? The U.S. Population growth, except for immigration, has been fairly flat. Right. Maybe it's growing a tiny bit, and Trump wants to build a wall, but okay, so now U.S. population growth flatlines. And so my question would be, okay, so people have these homes, who's going to buy them, right? I don't think that the wall will happen. I mean, right or wrong, whatever, I think pragmatically. So I think immigration is going to continue to be a driving force of growth in our economy. As technology will be as well. But so you got homes that are going to come onto the market that, people retire and now they want to sell their home and take that money and do something else with it, and the stock market, the same thing. I mean, who's going to buy these stocks at higher and higher valuations? We can keep pumping money into the economy and maybe that'll happen, and maybe the Chinese will keep buying them, or maybe the Saudis will keep buying them. But at some point, it seems like that party might have to end. And so, I do worry about that. I do look at that. I think that, again, having far less expensive entry options is important. And then also the notion of having a cost of living forward, the cost of ownership going forward being far, far significantly less, but with a higher quality of life. And by the way, that's a little bit paradoxical. I mean, people sometimes kind of like they shake their head and they go, wait a minute, how can I have a higher quality of life and it costs less? I mean, because it is paradoxical, but it's true. I mean, I'm living it. And it's the reason that, after 4 or 5 years of living in Central America, when we could have gone back to our home in the States, basically my wife was like, no way, this is really nice down here. So
I'm glad someone's living it.
We drank the Kool-Aid,
How perfect. Well, some people might think that the stock market analysis you just gave and some of those other analysis might be questionable, but I'm go to the same school you're going to, because things are going to change. I have a little story. I when I was a young man, I had a hot rod, and now I'd say, well, wouldn't it be fun as I'm gaining in years to have another one? And you look around, and those little hot rods are now $200,000. But I know in another X number of years, the millennials don't care about hot rods at all. So when I'm 90, you'll be seeing me drive my $10,000 hot rod that used to cost $100,000. So change is going to come, and I think you have to be alert to the fact that with the baby boomers and 10,000, turning 65 every day, that things are going to be different in the future. So you got to really be prepared to look at your options.
Well, yeah, and I also think that just sort of the Boy Scout motto is not a bad one, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And so, I hope that the stock market continues to race up, and I hope homes continue to have the value, and I hope that hot rod of yours is still worth $200,000 when you're 90.
Oh, he is definitely wishing against you on that one, Mike.
My only request is he just keeps his shirt buttoned up when he has that hot rod. He's driving around in that hot rod.
Yeah. The Fonzie days are gone forever, guys.
Well, let's see.
I wanted to elaborate on that and to ask you for some more options and such, but I know that we can get going on these down these tracks. And Joe, we've got about 2 minutes to this segment, so
yeah. Well, I think what we'll do here is we're going to segue a little bit. Just a reminder for those listening to the podcast. This is Joe Cucchiara sitting alongside Buddy and Bobbi with Real Estate Radio Live. This is our podcast series. We continue to educate those. We have on the line from the Michael Cobb, who's the chairman and CEO of ECI Development. And the series today, or we're talking about, is Economics of Living and Investing Overseas. If you want any information about buying and selling real estate, be sure to contact Bobbi Decker at area code 650-346-5352, or you could also visit her website at BobbiDecker.com. Any information about financing, contact me at 408-838-9060, or you could go to 𝗟𝗡𝗙Radiolive.com. We'll continue on now. Bobbi, we'll go ahead and take over.
Well, I have to tell you that yesterday I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and they were talking about Nick Saban, Inc.,
Oh, yeah.
He's the coach of Alabama, and apparently has been paid so much money to coach Alabama that he now owns part of Mississippi and Georgia. and the man is just amazing. But his wife, I believe her name is Terry, says, I will not invest in the stock market, just to get back to what Michael was alluding to, because I can't touch it, I can't feel it, I can't watch it grow, I can't fix it up. I can't do any of that. So she has been the person that has driven him to buy all kinds of complexes, multi-use apartment houses, and it's being able to actually utilize it that drives her with these investments. So, Michael, with that whole long story, tell us what drives everyone down to go to our southernmost part of the globe.
Well, I think there are two things. One is quality of life, and we've touched on that. We can certainly expand on that as well. And then the other is sort of the actual investment proposition. And actually, Bobbi, let me just ask. Do you have a track you want me to run at this point? Because I know we're short on time.
Just the cost. I think we can jump into the costs because people don't know sometimes you have taxes to pay, that type of thing, Michael, because internationally you think everything operates the way it does in the United States, and that is so wrong.
Right. Okay. So, what is the real cost? We've got an article in our Consumer Resource Guide about this, but just taking the real basic things of property taxes and homeowner fees or condo fees. I did some research on this just quickly, and I kind of try to keep it up to date. But in Miami, Miami property tax is somewhere between 1% and 2% of the assessed value, and your homeowner's fees, maybe average about 2%. They can be, up to, 50 to 75 cents a square foot per month. I mean, that's pretty heavy costs. And so all of a sudden your cost of ownership is significant versus property taxes of several $100s in Belize, for example, and a condo fee that's, maybe $250 to say $300-400 a month, because the cost of labor is just so much less, and so you can buy so much more with less money or the same money. But my wife enjoys a massage for $8. It's just incredible. Yeah.
Don't tell Cynthia; she'll have you on a plane faster than me.
Cynthia's Joe's wife.
Yes.
Yeah, Cynthia. Okay. Well, hey, Cynthia, if you're listening, come on down and bring Joe with you.
Oh boy.
All right.
You guys want to invite me back to your show again, anyway? But that's okay.
Well, no, you're going to be busy entertaining Bobby and Cynthia.
Excellent. But just in terms of quality life, quality life, not quality of life, but quality life. If you went down to, I like to call it Whole Paycheck, but I think up there you call it Whole Foods.
Yes.
If you went down to Whole Foods, Whole Paycheck, and bought a grocery bag full of organic fruits and vegetables, I don't know, it sets you back, $40, $50, $60, pick a number, right? We get a bag of produce delivered to our home every Tuesday, and it's $9. It's just incredible.
Wow.
It's chock full of organic everything. And so, just those kinds of things that, you just maybe avoid if you're on a budget in the States. It's actually less expensive to eat organic in this part of the world because chemicals are expensive and people aren't. And so you can go to the local farmer's market, you can buy something off the truck coming down the street, and you know that it was grown in a guy's field and it doesn't have chemicals on it because, again, the chemicals are really expensive and they don't use them. Industrial farming does, but that's for export. That's what shows up in the U.S. and in the supermarket. So cost of living, quality of life, go to a movie. I went to see the Jack Reacher movie the other day, and went by myself. My wife didn't want to see it, and I went in and had a large popcorn and a seat in the movie theater, English, big air conditioned, comfy seats, and it was about $6,
wow.
For the movie and popcorn. So
oh my,
this makes it.
All right.
We're all going to be crying by the end of this.
This is exactly the kind of information we need to know for our listeners, Michael. Seriously, this is great because to us, we're over here just licking our chops, but in seriousness, this is the type of education and information that we really want to pass along. So we'll switch gears a little bit, not necessarily, but, I'm the golf guy. So give us a little information on some of the housing cost options, particularly around the golf course. What type of price points are you looking at if you want a bit of that golf course view, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got everything from a tiny home we call a casita, a little house. That's about 1,000 square feet on the golf course for, I think it's $159. So $160,000. You got a 1,000-foot house on the golf course. You can have a much
doing this podcast.
Joe, don't have a meltdown. The man is like going to look for his golf clubs, Michael.
You guys take over from here. I'm out of here.
Yeah, right.
And it only took 3 times talking to Michael.
But,
sorry about that.
And he's in that hot rod. I can hear him in that hot rod. Hear the wheels squealing in the background, on his way to the airport.
Yep.
But and so like a 1,700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, again on a larger lot, $199, so $200,000, and a golf home, 2,300 square foot, 2-story, same thing, kind of 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, but with a beautiful, back story, 2nd floor balcony overlooking the golf course with a view of the ocean, is about $250. So the cost of getting in is very affordable. And then again, once you're here, the cost of living after that is super affordable. So neat options for folks. And an oceanfront condo, as low as $99,900. So $100,000 will put you into an oceanfront condo right near the golf course or right next to the golf course. looks towards the ocean.
And we're losing you.
I think it's just, for our listeners, that's just some temporary disconnection issues. That's what happens when we get international calls sometimes, but we'll continue bringing that value.
Michael's in Nicaragua, so...
right.
All right.
So your last sentence on the golf course was? Your very last thoughts? And what country are we talking about right now? I'm so busy watching everybody get ready to leave the United States. I'm losing track of where you're sending us, Michael.
Well, that's right. They're all on kayak.com right now looking up.
Right,
there you go.
Right.
But no, I'm actually in Nicaragua at the moment, and the property we're talking about is the Grand Pacifica Community Beach and Golf Resort in Nicaragua. So that was, and I think the last thing I mentioned was oceanfront condos from $100,000. So again, very very affordable cost of entry. And the nice thing is both in Belize and in Nicaragua, a lot of these properties, especially the vacation properties as opposed to the residential properties, I mean, they do well in a cash flow kind of situation. I mean, if you're not here or you're not using it, put it into a rental program and get some cash flow from it. And because of the low price of entry, and because the people coming down, I mean, the nightly rates they're not quite U.S. rates, but I mean, a nightly rate of, $125, $150 a night for, say, a $100,000 condo. I mean, you get this kind of arbitrage situation going on, and boy, I mean, when you can get a super low cost of entry and you can still get kind of a decent sized nightly rate, I mean, that's arbitrage, and there's money in there.
Good point.
And the other thing I like to talk about, especially for folks in California, is this concept of a time machine, because Nicaragua is California. It's in so many ways. It's beautiful. Semi-arid. We've got cactus and palm trees. I know you guys are Northern California, but maybe more of a Southern California. But the Pacific Ocean is 80 degrees, so it's nice. It's warm, and it's California 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And if you could buy a home in Malibu for $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, pick the number, $150,000, what would that home be worth today? And so I think these are the same kinds of time machine opportunities that we see throughout the region that are very, 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 very succinct. And these are the kinds of things that also drive people in addition to the cost of living issues and the quality of life.
Yeah, I think you made the comment in that report that we're going to offer up for everybody to connect with Bobbi to get that is the plane leaving? Is this the moment you've really got to be in action about?
Right.
It sounds like there can be some fabulous ROI, but you want to get going. You can't wait. It's almost like what we were talking about with Joe over the last 6 or 8 months. Rates are going to go up. Rates are going to go up. You got to, if you're a buyer, get off your duff and get out there. And all of a sudden, rates went up, and all those people that were sitting on the sidelines made a big mistake by not moving aggressively when the opportunity was at its best. So, kind of what you're saying is this is the moment where the opportunity is probably at its best. So let's figure out how we can get that report.
And you can't come cry on my shoulder because I'm going to be down there.
No, but
they need an expat realtor, you see.
Exactly.
And they want to get a copy of that report, Bobbi. How
with
do they
a
get
CIP designation.
Correct.
And if you want a copy of this phenomenal report, and I'm not kidding you guys, I do not read 48 pages lightly, then what you want to do is to get Bobbi, B-O-B-B-I, at BobbiDecker.com, and I will send you on to Michael. Or you can text me, 650-346-5352, and just say, send report, and I'll know what you're talking about.
Very good. And Michael, again, before we let you go, if you could give our listeners contact information for yourself, please.
Absolutely. The website is ECIDevelopment.com, and you can reach me at 𝗔𝗲𝗎𝗄𝗏, that's M-C-O-B-B, at ECIDevelopment.com.
Very good. Hey, Michael, these series have been just incredible.
Terrific.
So thank you so much for your time, and we are going to have to coordinate a little meeting here and get together and try to make a trip.
I think a trade mission is in order, guys.
Yeah,
Come on down.
You know, everybody's been saying they're going to go to Canada if certain things happen. I'm thinking Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Oh, why not? It's 90. You go play golf. I'll sit out by the beach.
Live podcast from Nicaragua?
I think
sure
so.
we can.
Well, it's proven. All right, Michael, thanks again. It's been wonderful. I'm sure we'll connect, and good luck on the upcoming book. And when we get to that point, we'll probably talk to you before, but we'll do that interview as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me again.
All right, very good. This is 𝗔𝗕𝗄𝗧 alongside Buddy and Bobbi signing out for our podcast series. Be sure to contact us for more information at 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘.com. Take care.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘.com. That's 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at 𝗟𝗡𝗩𝗘.com.